everyone. Those of you who are new to my group, welcome. Today we are discussing case taking. So, case taking is most crucial part to prescribe any medicine for your patient. So, let's go ahead and talk about it. What similarities between allopathic and homeopathic case taking? So for all of the homeopathic and allopathic case taking, first you need is patient demographics. Patient demographics are name, age, place where address where patient lives, phone number, email. So basically, brief information about patient's age, gender, um, address, and marital status, whether patient is married or not, and all that stuff. So with all this demographic information, what we get is a lot of it. Like with contact information, of course, we can get hold of the patient in case you want to convey any important message to him that your lab results are good, or you need a follow-up, you need a follow-up appointment and stuff like that. That's the basic and important stuff you get from demographics is where patient lives. So patient's socio-economic background is something that you get from the demographic information. Very important. That tells us a lot about patient's lifestyle, what could be patient's lifestyle like, and stuff like that. Okay, so if you want to, if for example your patient has anemia and you want to tell him or her that consume a lot of dates to pump in a lot of iron in the patient. So if at all your patient has a PO box address, they really don't have a place to live, or if they're kind of in a homeless situation, you cannot tell them go and buy dates and eat dates. Okay, so simple stuff like spinach and stuff, that's what you can recommend to your patient. So seems like demographic information doesn't play an important role, but it tells you a lot about your patient and helps you in managing the total case as such. Okay, also marital status, it tells you if patient is mentally stressed, if patient is going through a divorce, separation, or patient is happily married and stuff like that. Okay, so minor details but very important stuff that you can catch in demographics. Then comes the chief complaint. Chief complaint is, of course, if patient came in with cold and cough or backache, you are supposed to get details like how many days this patient has that complaint. Now, why do we need that? Is because so that we can decide if the complaint is acute or chronic. And hi, Seerat. So we can decide whether the patient's complaint is acute or chronic, and that tells us a lot, especially in homeopathic prescription. That tells us a lot whether or not patient is going to get constitutional prescription or an acute prescription. Okay, and a little bit more about chief complaints. You can include patient has cold and cough since 2-3 weeks, patient has, let's say, allergies, whitish discharge, and just little briefing about what patient is in for today. Then comes family history. Family history also plays an important role. If patient's parents, grandparents have diabetes, then if patient has, let's say, borderline diabetes, then you can definitely tell your patient that, okay, your grandmom has had diabetes, so you should take extra caution. Your parents have high blood pressure, so just reduce salt intake and stuff like that. Okay, so minute things. So that's how family history is important. You can definitely get a picture of your patient, especially in homeopathic prescription, you can definitely get picture of your patient that, oh, maybe this patient has parents who have had a lot of cysts or lipomas and stuff like that. Then you can definitely know that patient might be prone to lipomas, patient might be prone to cysts, and if already patient has what we call in homeopathy as psychotic miasm, which is tendency to develop cysts and hemorrhoids and stuff like that, you can definitely look into it. Okay, so that's about family history. Patient's past history gives a lot information also. Like for example, if patient came into your clinic for hemorrhoids, and if patient has had past history of hemorrhoids which were bleeding, then you can definitely tell that it's not just a psychotic miasm or homeopathic miasm um, um, miasm diagnosis, but it's a psychotic and syphilitic miasm, meaning patient has tendencies to um, cysts and growths and stuff like that, but patient also has syphilitic miasm, meaning fissures and ulcers and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll talk about miasms maybe next time, but just to give you a brief intro about or brief understanding about what is important and why it's important. Um, so patient's past history is important. Now, patient's personal history. What happens in allopathic case taking is personal history is something that is really not considered for allopathic prescription, because for allopathy we have prescriptions like you know, if you have acidity, then there is anti-acid and stuff like that. But in homeopathic prescription, especially if you're trying to do chronic prescription, then you are going to need a constitutional remedy. So constitutional remedy is the remedy that acts on the patient as whole. So on spiritual, mental, physical level, the remedy acts entirely on the patient. So for that purposes, you need a lot of information. So that information is basic stuff like appetite, sleep, thirst, aversions, cravings, desires. So there's a thin line between desires and cravings. So desires meaning I desire hot or warm water. So that's just, yeah, that's something I want. But if I get someone serves me room temperature water, then I won't get mad at it, or mad at that person. Okay, so but craving is something like I want it now. Now means now. Okay, so that's difference between desires and cravings. So desires, cravings, aversions meaning I dislike bitter food, I dislike sweets, or I dislike fried food, that kind of stuff. So that plays really very important role in homeopathy, because when we are doing a homeopathic prescription, at that time you need all of that information, because that those symptoms are present in our materia medica, in our medicines, and that helps in getting picture of the patient himself, and also it helps in remedy differentiation. So that's very crucial. So sleep, dreams are also important parts that we need to take into consideration, because sleep is something very crucial that tells you a lot about patient's lifestyle. um, dreams are reflection of what's going on your subconscious level in your mind. So if patient, let's say for example, has anxious dreams, then you can overall tell that patient is stressed, patient is anxious about something. One of my patients had dream of a tsunami, that tsunami is occurring or earthquake is occurring or something like that. So definitely I could tell that patient is quite anxious that something bad is going to happen. And of course I digged in, asked so many questions that I found out why patient is anxious. Okay. um, So sometimes even patients are not aware that they are anxious. So they might not tell you that they are anxious, feeling anxious about something, and they want medicine for it. But dreams, sleep tells you a lot about it. Okay, so that's important. Then on physical symptoms, what's important is thirst, perspiration, modalities is something really very very important. So modalities are, there are 5 types of modalities. So every time you take a case, try and remember 5 type of modalities and ask each and every modality, because that helps in remedy differentiation a lot. And that's something that's commonly missed. We ask, okay, let's say for example patient has headache, then we tend to ask our patient, how is your headache, what it is better by, what it's aggravated by, and that's about it. We don't ask further details. Maybe we forget, or patient keeps on talking, and then you're done with the session, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I did not ask the time modality, what time the patient has headache, or what causes headache in that patient. Okay, so these are really important things that are commonly missed. Another commonly missed thing is accessory symptoms. We will be talking about accessory symptoms also very briefly, because it's really a short topic. So accessory symptoms are the symptoms where patient is so used to it that it's part and parcel of their life, and they don't even realize that's a symptom. So for example, patient has diarrhea every early morning. Okay, just an example. So if at all patient has diarrhea in early morning every day, then that's something he or she is used to every day, and they just miss out on telling you this important stuff. And that plays an important role in chronic homeopathic prescription. So that is something you need to ask your patient, that okay, what's going on, how are your bowel movements. So definitely record bowel movements, how they are, the consistency, the frequency, and whether there is pain associated um, with defecation or with passing stools and stuff. Okay, with bowel movements. Definitely, if your patient is a female, ask her about gynecological history. That also plays an important role, because lot of times patients, maybe one of my patient had, she was very depressed because she was in a childbearing age group, and she really wanted kids a lot, and that's the reason she was depressed. And when I asked her about gynecological history, she said, yeah, she wanted to have kids, but she can't for some reason. Okay, so these are some important stuff that we definitely get while going step by step. Okay, so if we go in this chronological order, we definitely get a lot of information about our patient, because not all of our patients are talkative, not all of them want to share everything. Some of them are reserved, some of them, they don't believe in homeopathy that much, so they are very closed, or they are not well versed with homeopathy. Like, they just think that okay, cold coryza, give me antihistamine or anti-allergic and I'll be fine. Why do you need to ask so many questions? Okay, or why do you need to know so much stuff? So it's on our part, definitely, that we ask our patients questions and stuff and get all the information we can, so that we can make the best constitutional prescription for our patient. Okay, if you have any questions, this video will be on the group. If you think of any questions, you can just comment below, and I will be posting this video on YouTube my YouTube channel as well. I'll post my YouTube channel link in the comments section as well. If you have any questions, just comment on Facebook or comment on YouTube channel, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So this was in brief about case taking, why and what things are missed and why things are important, why is it necessary to go in a chronological order. Okay, questions or concerns are welcome. I will be happy to answer your questions. Okay, you have a great day. Stay safe. Stay at home as much as possible. And you have your great rest of your Saturday. Bye.